Okay, so today I'm going to tell you guys a little story about our Etsy/Amazon journey. And it starts 2 years ago. I think it's been 3 years now. We started selling on Etsy at the very beginning. We've grown to the point where it was making up the majority of our sales until we launched our website. And at that point, it became 45% of our business. So I would say in terms of profit, it was a huge chunk. Now, the reason why we stopped selling on Etsy was not by choice. Earlier this summer, everything was going great. We had our star seller badges for multiple quarters consecutively. We were getting reviews in. We had 4.8. So it was very high. In the past, I had gotten some notices from Etsy saying, oh, we've removed this listing or we've removed that listing. I'd be a little bit confused because I would go through their creative rules and I would see there's definitely nothing wrong here, so it must be some type of misunderstanding. I would reach out to customer support, and the only help that they would be able to provide me is you have to check our code of conduct. If you think that it's wrong, we can escalate this, but they never actually did. So another piece of this puzzle is that at some point I had changed my email because I wanted it to be my business email, but then I didn't want to pay for, this is going to a tangent, but I didn't want to pay for 2 Google Workspace email addresses. For each one you have to pay, I think it's like $12 a month. And so the one that I had switched my Etsy to was the one that I canceled. And then I was like, wait, I can't get back into Etsy because it's an old account and it's connected to my old phone number. So I reactivated that email. From then on, I couldn't receive emails from Etsy anymore. They were saying that they were sending me email notifications warning me they're going to remove a listing or what the reasoning was. I never got any of those emails. I would screenshot my inbox and show them and be like, I have not received one email. It's not in my spam. I just have no record of what the reasoning is. So I guess if it's just 1 or 2 here and there, I can deal with that. I'll just relist them. I would relist them and it would work maybe for a few months or so, and then they would remove some of my other listings. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Okay, so I try to duplicate those listings or maybe reword them. I don't know. Anyway, after a few months of this, they would remove my star seller badges because they thought that I wasn't complying. I would go back to customer service and there was nothing they could do, and then I would have to earn those back. I was technically in star seller status the whole time, but because they would remove my listings, they would take my star seller badges with them, and it would have to be 3 quarters later before it would reset. It was just very frustrating, but there's nothing I could do because it's such a big chunk of my sales. And then one day, I think it was in June, I noticed that my account was suspended. I tried to log in and I couldn't on my mobile app, and they were saying that you have to log in with your computer. So I log in and there's a huge orange bar at the top saying your account has been suspended. We've removed a bunch of your listings because they didn't comply with our code of conduct or something like that. And I was like, which ones did they remove? They had removed my belt bags, my collar, and some of my plushies, but it wasn't consistent. They would remove some colors and not others, and there was really no method to the madness, it seemed. So I tried to file an appeal and went through the whole application. I submitted it, and I get this email saying, we don't approve your appeal. You can't respond to this email. I didn't know what to do at that point. I tried to create a new account, and I got through the step where you start to create listings. I got through one listing, and they automatically closed down my account again. And I was like, they must be tracking this somehow and detecting this. I looked at some Reddit posts and I asked ChatGPT, and apparently they're very strict about violations, and they basically blacklist you. And if they find that a similar account has been opened that's linked to your IP address or your address or your phone number or your name or your business name, whatever, then they just close that account immediately, no questions asked. So, going through this whole ordeal, my frustration is that, you go on Etsy, you try to make something out of your small business or your creations, your designs. I want to make something of this, but who knows if it's going to become something. You get to a point where you start selling to other retailers all around the world. You've grown quite a lot, and then all of a sudden Etsy thinks that your designs are unoriginal because they're all over the internet and they're found at other retailers. So what I think happened is that they must use some kind of AI or system to automatically detect if your products or your designs are showing up elsewhere on the internet. Then they flag them, and they think that these are not original because other retailers are selling the same exact thing. This logic just doesn't quite make sense. It doesn't resonate with me because you're essentially discouraging your creators from growing, which should be the original mission. I think that it was really disappointing experience for me, and it's just very reminiscent of my Amazon experience that I had previously. So speaking of Amazon, when we first started, we were also selling on Amazon, and when we created an Amazon seller account, I was trying to log in for the first time and I had to verify my phone number, but I never received a text. I called customer support at Amazon and they told me there's no solution to this. Basically, you have to create another account. So I did. After about 6 months or so, I was selling very well. I was getting multiple orders a day. They gave me a warning. They were going to deactivate my account because I had a duplicate account. Not long after that, they deactivated my account. And I tried to talk to customer support about this. I was like, you guys are the one who told me to create a new account. But there's unfortunately no record of this apparently because it was over the phone, which is unfortunate. So they told me this long, extensive process on how to reactivate your account, which basically entails you have to go into your first account that you created and then make sure that your identity is verified in each of the countries that you registered to sell in. For some reason, I was registered to sell in 12 different countries that I didn't even add. Maybe I did, who knows? But it was like Amsterdam, Japan, Germany, Canada, Mexico, and all these different places. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go through each of these and verify my identity and also appeal it. This is going to take me so much time. I just got really frustrated and then stopped the process. So at this point, I was like, I'll just withdraw all of my inventory from FBA. Because at that point, I had shipped a bunch of my inventory to Amazon warehouses so they could ship it out for me. I feel like as a Prime member myself, that's one of the main reasons that I would buy from Amazon is the fast shipping. I think the great way for exposure is to leverage this service. So I took all of my inventory out and then I noticed that they were coming back in boxes, like multiple boxes, and some boxes would only have a couple products. And I get they're probably from different warehouses all over. They spread them out, but they must have just thrown these items in there because my LaPoo bags, like their paper boxes, they were coming back crushed, especially my candles. They looked like they had been through it. The corners were bent and dented. I took out some of the candles too, and they were in super bad shape. There's no way I can sell it like that at all unless I take out the wax and reshape it and remake it. There was so much damage to my inventory that I thought, oh, this is not worth it anymore. I can just stick to Etsy and stick to my website and just sell on those two platforms. And fair, of course. A year or two goes by And then this Etsy thing happened. And then I was like, well, let me see if I can sell on Amazon again. So this time I put my mind to it and I was like, okay, I'm going to ask another customer service person, see exactly what the steps are, and then actually try my best to go through with it. And it turns out for several markets, there's a main market where you have to resolve the issues. So for instance, I think Japan was a main market, then you have the US, maybe Germany also, I don't really remember now. But I had to go through each of those, make sure my identity is verified, make sure that all of my credit card and bank information is in there and up to date, and appeal deactivation. And then a while after that, you have to wait for them to approve it and review all the information. And then finally, they reactivated my accounts, like both of them. Now I just keep both of them, just in case one happens to the other. I've already proven that both of them are mine. And I think that's all that you need to do. I haven't had any issues. The only thing is it's a huge hassle to have to relist my listings, and I'm using different apps that are on Shopify to help with that process, but it's still pretty lengthy because Amazon has so many other fields that you need to fill out, but it's working so far. Anyway, that's why after I had sworn off Amazon, we stopped selling on Etsy, and now we're back on Amazon. With that said, I definitely still think that our website is the best platform for us to sell on. So that's where I wish to have more traffic. But I think that will just take time. With work being so busy for me right now, I'm still working my 9-to-5 job. It's been very difficult for me to find time to create consistent content, with consistency being the main struggle that I have. Our store traffic has slowed down a lot, but with Amazon, I have to spend so much money to advertise. Without the advertising, so many listings get pushed in front of yours and people just basically never see them. I would say with the advertising spend, the profit is about the same as a wholesale order because there's no shipping fee for the customers. So I've tried to work that into the pricing to offset it a little bit. It's not a very lucrative business, but it works. My hope is that eventually, after selling on Amazon for a while and I start to gain more traction, people will start to recognize our brand. They'll start to come searching for our products rather than coming across them naturally. And I'm hoping that it will lead to more organic exposure. Then I won't need to spend so much on advertising. But for now, I think this is what we'll have to do. So that is my very long-winded version of our Etsy and Amazon journey thus far. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's any other insights that you want to hear from me or questions that you have, or if there's anything else that you want to see. Just let me know in the comments and I'll work it into our very inconsistent content schedule. Sorry, I know I've taken a huge break from posting, but that's because I've been so overwhelmed. And I think sometimes when you're that overwhelmed, you just need to take it day by day and do what you can to de-stress. And that includes lowering your standards. If there's too much that you have planned that's not getting done, that's probably a sign that you need to pare it down a bit. And that's okay. Sometimes you just have to work within your bounds and recalibrate. I hope you guys are all enjoying your time being small business creators. I hope everything is going better for you guys. But until next time, bye. Oh, thank you so much for watching, and please like, follow, and subscribe. Ew. Okay. Please like this video, subscribe if you are interested in hearing more about our journey. We're still the most active on Instagram, so that's where you can find us the majority of the time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.